Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Lisa's Love and Light. Like I said, I'm not sure as to what time I could be on here. So I'm here now. And thank you all. If you're subscribed to the channel, tune in. If you can't tune in now, um, tune in when you can. But this is a little bit of a different message today. It has to do with healing. Um, but like I said, all forms of healing that I talk about, um, it, all types of situations that I talk about leads up to the healing process. Why some people get on this journey to heal because of circumstances that created some type of pain or abuse for them to get on this journey to heal. So, with that being said, um, I hope everyone is having a good day. Happy Friday to you guys. Um, I'm here now to talk about this topic of discussion today, which is breaking the cycle of pain and abuse. Breaking a cycle of pain and abuse. Um, this topic, I hope this resonates with those listeners who are watching because this could be for specific individuals. Um, but in any event, everyone is welcome to listen to this message because abuse can happen to women and men as well. So please tune in. When we decide to heal the pain, the agony, and a vicious cycle of abuse, we break that cycle of abuse when we get on that healing train. When we learn the lessons of repeating toxic cycles, because sometimes, guys, that's what that is. Like we can go into a relationship, right? And it's so abusive, so painful. Okay, we get out of that. Um, and then we wait a while and then we get back in, and then it's the same thing all over again. Do you guys know why this happened? This happens because sometimes we don't learn the lesson of toxic relationships and abuse, etc. The signs are there, you know. The signs are there to show us the direction that that situation may be going in. For example, you may be in something new and a red flag appear, and not a little one, but a huge one. That red flag is letting you guys know what's to come. I was watching a movie like that not too long ago, and this guy had a substance abuse issue. And the woman in the movie, she had just started dating him, and he had track marks all over his arm, etc. And I'm like, that's a huge red flag. And she decided to ignore it and to uh, pretend it wasn't what it was, you know? And then later on, it all blew up in her face in a movie. But in real life, these things happen, and it may not be to that extreme. However, when you see a huge red flag that catch your attention and make you think, I wonder what's going on here with this situation. Um, Reevaluate the situation you're in. And that's what I failed to do in the past. I would make excuses for it. Oh, this person has this and that because what happened to them, etc., and so forth. And that's not the case, guys. Look at the red flags. Use your intuition. It will never lead you wrong. In the past, I wouldn't use my intuition, make excuses for people, situations, etc. No, it's not that, but it's in my face. And, sometimes it's better to see things for what they are because it will um, lessen our pain later on. It will lead us away from the pain. Because what happens, guys, sometimes is that these red flags are warning of what's to come. And if we ignore it and make excuses for it, calling a duck a pig and et cetera and so forth, then it will blow up in our face later on. And that means that we haven't learned a lesson. And then we go and do this again. And unlearned lessons will repeat itself in different ways. And if we don't learn those lessons, they'll come back around, different scenario, different person or situation, but same lesson. And when it comes back around the second and third time, it's way worse than the first time. So I choose to learn it as quickly as I can and move on, and to see it as a lesson. And then it helps me to move on quickly. Um, when we learn the lessons of repeating toxic cycles, we never have to repeat them again, because we know what toxicity and abuse look like, especially when it was really bad, guys, and you've been in really bad, horrible situations. You learn what they are, and you start to see the signs of what they are. And as you see those signs, you get out of it as quickly as you can, so that you learn it and you don't have to repeat it. And it's so important, people. And I'm talking from experience. I have a few notes here, but I'm really talking from within. We have clarity after we go through these things that cause us trauma and pain and grief, you know? And then once we see the clarity, now we can see behind the mask of deception, because people can be charming, male or female. They can be charming and make us believe A, B, C, and D. And then we get involved, and then we see behind the mask what's really there. The repetition of, oh, baby, I'm sorry. Someone really physically or verbally abuse you so bad, and then they come back with some gifts. Oh, baby, I'm sorry. It'll never happen again. Once you learn these lessons of what this looks like, it was the baby, I'm sorry, will never, never phase you anymore, because you have clarity of the lesson, because the lesson was so bad and so horrific that you don't want to go through that pain again. So you get on this healing train to heal all of that stuff. And because you've been through it and had the experience with it, you know what this stuff looks like. So when you see that again, then you say, I have clarity of this, because this is something that I've gone through. So I'm going to close this door. And it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It could be a family situation. Just because we share DNA, I had a family member tell me, yo, we share DNA and blah, blah. No, we don't. Cut the cord on that. I cut the cord on that, because anything that's toxic and not for my highest good, the door gets closed to it. First setting boundaries. And when the boundaries are disrespected, the door gets closed, padlock, cut off, block, and delete. Many times when we learn these lessons, we don't repeat them, because we know what's going to happen when we repeat these lessons, that it's going to come back. The next one that we didn't learn is going to be worse than ever. And no one wants to go through that, quite honestly. Never allow anyone to tell you, to abuse you and tell you you deserve it. Well, I smacked you and kicked you down the stairs because you deserve that, because you didn't do A, B, C, and D. That's insanity. Never settle for any of that. Set boundaries, close doors if necessary, because this is abuse. This is the face of abuse. This is what it looks like, people. No one deserves to be abused, whether it's physically or verbally. No one deserves that. And don't allow your self-esteem to be so low to the ground that you think you deserve that. Nobody deserves any of that. Never be fooled by an abuser telling you, I love you. That's why I behave this way. If I didn't love you, I wouldn't be doing A, B, C, and D. That's a kind thing. This is the toxic pattern of an abuser. And as you get clarity on these things, you see the behavior, you see how they're coming towards you. And I'm going to give an example about this. Years ago, when I was a teenager, this guy I was dating, people, I don't give location. Sometimes I don't even give gender and things like that, because it's not necessary. And this is YouTube. So I'm very careful as to how I present these videos. So, and this guy like I said, really I dated him for about a year. And and he was very charming, very nice, and I could see myself being with him, and what I mean being with him, being married, etc., because I wanted to be married, have two children, right? I have one, but I wanted two. But in any event, until one day he wanted me to do something. I had responsibilities as a teenager. I think I was 17, 18, not 18 yet, but 17. And my mom worked that night. I was the last one to leave home. And she had a hard time getting up for work at night. She, worked the graveyard shift. That's what we call it. And I had to be home at a specific time to wake her up so she can go to work. And he wanted me to go somewhere and do something. Well, I can't do it then, but maybe we can do this instead. And that went back and forth. And all of a sudden, he slapped me, and he slapped me so hard I fell down on the ground. We were in a hallway of where I lived, in a building. I was near the staircase. I could have fell and broke my neck. And that's all I was thinking about when I got up. And after, I think I pushed him after he did that, whatever, but I was so in shock because this had been a year we had been together. And I said, this is over. And I actually meant it because I'm like, I was so like devastated. You hit me. Are you crazy? What's wrong with you? And he had never done that before. Um, And it didn't happen again because I immediately ended that. And he kept trying to bring flowers and gifts, baby, I'm sorry, whatever. And I wouldn't talk to him anymore. And what I realized is that he thought this behavior was normal because he grew up in a household with a father who was drunk a lot and who used to beat his mother, and she would just stay and take it. And I'm not that type of person. I'm not going to tolerate any abuse, especially physical abuse. And so this is what was happening. And I really liked him, but I knew that I couldn't deal with him. And years later, he went into the service and then he came out and got married and had a few children. Um, he lived next door to a woman who, years ago, I used to babysit her grandchildren. And she and I used to keep in contact. And she told me that he was beating up on his wife so bad that her pictures on her wall will fly off the wall. And I said, thank you, God, because I dodged a huge bullet, you know, that and I thank God for dodging that bullet and that I was strong enough to walk away from that no matter how I felt about him, because I knew that was the beginning of something I didn't want, because I would see that when I was a child growing up. My mom would work at night and I would stay at the babysitter, and her husband sometimes would get drunk, and I would see that and I knew I didn't want that in my life, you know. Even though years later I got into abusive situations, but never so much the physical until one of the until the 10-year relationship. But I was able to get out of that and learn to love myself. Because when you love yourself and you start healing, you start loving yourself. And then you start to have clarity that these things are not for your highest good, because never, love is supposed to enhance your life, not create hell in it. It's supposed to enhance each other, equal give and take. You have problems and situations that's going to come up in any type of relationship, whether it's a romantic, family, or whatever, but being able to resolve those problems without abuse, excuse me, physical or otherwise. That's important. People know the difference and know what you deserve. And if someone hits you one time and tell you, oh baby, I'm sorry, blah blah, and then it happens again, it's a repetitive pattern, because no one should be hitting on somebody that they love or hurting them or doing any of this stuff. There's nothing loving about it, and then telling you you deserve that. I remember a time in my 10-year relationship that I was in, and we were arguing so bad. And this ex said to me, well, if you would have done what I told you, we wouldn't be going through this. And I started laughing. And then I realized this is insanity. This is not how this is supposed to be, you know. And I was relieved when it really ended, because it was so much drama. When things start off with a lot of problems and this and that is going on, something's going on over here, over there, right here, there, etc., so forth. That's a huge red flag that there's something not right here. Listen to those red flags. Listen to your intuition. Know what's for you and for your highest good, and know what's toxic and leave it where it is. Set boundaries. If you have to walk away from something that's not for your highest good, do what you have to do. It's so important, guys. Let's continue to heal so that we can be at a place of peace instead of broken down into pieces. That right person or situation will come into your life, but you have to close the door you have to learn these lessons and then close the door, heal, and then move towards your new beginnings. Because after you heal and do the work, those new doors is going to be better. It's going to be better people, better situations that are going to come into your life. Ask God to help you. Stay in prayer. You don't have to be religious to be in prayer with God. Connect with Him, ask Him to help you. And as you make steps and take those steps in that direction, God will help you. He will uplift you. I promise you that, because I'm talking from experience. And none of this is easy, but nothing ventured is nothing gained. And we must move forward and love ourselves, because when we love ourselves, we do better. We self-care, we uplift. And then we can be an example to other people who may be currently going through something we already went through and that we conquered in our lives. So that's what's important, so that we can be an example and we can be of assistance to other people who need our help. Remember, let's turn this pain into power, power into a purpose to move forward, to help ourselves and also help other people. That is the message today, everyone. Thank you for being here. Let's continue to move forward. Know that we can overcome these situations and not let them overcome us. Thank you for being here. This is Lisa, shedding love and light. And you guys have a great day. Have a good weekend. Thank you all again for being here. Bye for now.